Welcome everybody back to the Epics of Irandal for session number 21. Lucky number 21. Hopefully nobody dies today. Hint, hint. Nod, nod. No.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. No. Maybe. No. But anyway, last time our party had found themselves in an underwater cavern after tracking the mysterious fish-like people that had attacked them on the Ivory Coast just east of the Almatur Mesas and the Verdant Embrace, after a large percentage of hunters from the day's fishing and hunting party had gone missing, only survived by a single individual barely left alive and able to return to the valley before collapsing and nearly succumbing to their wounds. After being attacked by these fish-like creatures, you followed them back to their lair, their source of origin, upon which you began exploring this cave, quickly finding a trio of survivors of the Umbral Hunters there, in addition to a very strange, inviting and seductive voice that slowly began to permeate all of your minds. Some successful, others not, as you collectively managed to shake off this unwelcomed presence that sought to take advantage of your fears and desires and any intense emotions that you held deep within. After which you continued to explore the cave, looking for an exit that you could utilize to help free these Aarakocra that would more than likely succumb to drowning if they were to try to escape the way you came. But in that process, you found yourselves in a large open portion, a wide, glowing grotto. And swiftly after discovering the heavily wounded leader of these creatures, that very same creature was then drug under into the depths of this grotto, never to be seen again, as it was seemingly devoured by a much darker entity. A aberrant monstrosity rose up from the waters below the grotto. This squid-like fish creature, this massive maw rows of razor-sharp teeth that seemingly spoke to you in a mental capacity, a very strong sentience to this creature. But nevertheless, combat ensued, and after a strenuous fight, you were able to dwindle this creature's existence down to a point where it began to flee. And at this time, an unknown individual arrived from a seemingly opposite entrance to this grotto. An individual clad in black robes and rags, their face all but covered, as they conjured this sickly-looking thin blade that they then used to entirely decapitate the remainder of this creature. And freeing from deep within its body a massive chunk of lunarium. Dazes, you recognized this individual. And although you had not seen them in many years, one does not forget a strong bond like this. A bond of camaraderie, a bond of affection, a bond of love. This was a love they then refuted immediately, vowing that you would see retribution for seemingly something at some point in the future before releasing a massive, thunderous wave of energy and vanishing from directly in front of you, casting you back into the waters of the grotto as they disappeared from sight. Both physically, mentally, and emotionally stunned, you all gathered yourselves together as this recent blast freed a well-covered entrance to this grotto, as you realize now that this at some point was some type of smuggler's cove, a den of thieves, a place to store ill-gotten gains of various kinds. Some gains which you found shortly thereafter below one of the falling water points in one of the walls. But after this hole above ground was freed, Zaisha arrived down along with a companion hunter to begin assist you with freeing these injured individuals within the caverns. Now you find yourselves above ground again, breathing in the salty but fresh air just along the Ivory Coast, the sheer cliff walls just to your east, a few hundred yards away, as you hear the waves crash in the chilled but still night air. As you gather your thoughts and try to calm your minds after a harrowing experience before beginning your travels back as the sun begins to rise in the east, as you head westward back towards the verdant embrace, as you are slowly carried by a small contingent of these umbral hunters. What would you like to do?
I mean, I'm just kind of looking at Dazes in general for after everything and just kind of seeing what he wants to do.
Are we still on the way back, or are we back?
You at this point would be about maybe 20 or 30 minutes in flight back towards the verdant embrace. Maybe another 15 or 20 minutes of flight time before you can begin to see the outline of the rocky mesas coming into view in the still very dark edges of your vision.
Which one of us took the little shard of lunarium in the glass jar? Did we decide that?
I feel like it was me because I've just kind of been doing that in the past.
All right.
Oh, that actually reminds me.
double
We need to split our winnings, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you did find quite a pool of... Pardon me?
It was what, 2,100 gold equivalent?
About 2,100 gold in loose coinage, gemstones, and various rare metals.
Mm-hmm.
But you had also found a strange-looking ring, or a pair of rings that were fused together, almost like a between an index and a ring finger, or I'm sorry, an index and a middle finger and a ring finger, kind of fused together in this with this joined gold band with runes atop it. That with a high-level Arcana investigation, you were able to determine, Trash, that this was some sort of ring of spell storing, as you had seen rings and devices like this used by members of the magistrate before.
Right.
In addition, you found a small glass orb containing a sliver of lunarium encased in glass and inert, but still emanating some sort of magical essence to it.
As we float, I'm just staring at whichever pocket Trash put that thing in with a hint of curiosity, but mostly just rage and disgust that we have it on us.
Yeah, I don't really know much of what to do while we're on our way back. I mean, I know that one or two sessions ago we had a choice, or sort of a choice of whether we wanted to help our companions or like follow Billet, but that was what, hours ago now.
Yeah,
point.
probably more than probably 8 to 10 hours ago at least.
Yeah.
A significant amount of time.
I was thinking about mentioning it to the tribe that Billet's gone missing, because I think it's unfortunately a little out of our hands to try to find him and see what's going on. But aside from that, would you like to tell us about this mysterious person?
Sure. I mean, I'll give my whole backstory spiel, I guess, about how I was, oh, give me a second. In my younger days, I essentially, lived on the sea. And alongside our individual who we met before, what was his name? Domus, my friend Domus.
Domus,
Mhm.
yeah.
Who you guys know.
Mhm.
So yeah, Domus is the brother of who we just ran into, who was also I guess partner romantically. Who I thought had perished when our ship had capsized in the past, and is who I've been looking for since the beginning since we all met in Tierhelm, because I was informed by Domus that she was alive, and now I've apparently finally found her, and she is evil, it seems.
Why she call you betrayer?
Yeah. Wonder.
I wish I knew.
Did it seem like her? Do you think she was maybe under the influence of something?
Magical influence? Maybe. It seemed like her though. And she definitely knew me, so I don't know how much influence would be there if she, had those memories of me and was still taking those actions. But I mean, I suppose it is a possibility. But yeah, I got plenty of questions, as I am quite confused. I do not know what she meant by betrayal. I have no clue. Also, her name is Ada, by the way.
Ada.
Ada, excuse me. It took me a while to remember. if she still goes by that, which, you know, because I believe I remember when I called her that, she told me not to call her that anymore, so, or to never to no longer use that name, something like I had no right to use that name any longer. So I don't know, man.
Dazes, as you all are carried back towards the verdant embrace, your fingers drift across the coin left in your pocket. The large, roughly $50 sized coin as a point of reference for size. You feel, after its time in the oceans and the various times to dry, any of the remains of salty residue that is now, that were once upon it, have all but washed away, leaving just the coin itself. And as you finger it in between your index and your middle finger, you can feel the face of each side of the coin. On one side, the bright, silvery face of the goddess of luck, good fortune, and future endeavors. On the opposite side, a darker, tarnished, antiqued face, although similar, vastly different. Its antithesis, if you will, the face of the goddess of ill fortune, of wrongdoing, of negative endeavors, of failed dreams, and succumbing to the world. The two sides of fate, once joined as one, split into two sisters in a story of ancient times. You finger the coin, feeling it effortlessly flow back and forth. You ever so faintly feel a bit of heat before a strong wind blows against your face and you lose focus once again. Fatigued and tired after your long event, but unable to completely keep it out of your mind as you think about what transpired this evening. As you all are carried back into the verdant embrace, the sun rising at your backs, its warm light cascading like a gentle fall over the top of the two halves of this breached mesa. You can see at a distance now people are beginning to gather in the lowest points of the valley and along the cliff faces, the hollowed portions, the various homes alighting in the early morning light. You can begin to smell the scent of fires and morning meals being prepared as you are carried down further and further before you touch base down in the hard, rocky edge of the verdant embrace, just around the still pool of water, the well that had formed in this valley, the life-giving essence of fresh water in this area. And you immediately begin to see, as people are noticing your arrival and gathering, as you hear Zaisha call to the upper levels in this chittering, chirping language that you do not understand, but you can feel the importance of her cries as you see people beginning to hurry with authority and movement and soaring down, carrying various medical supplies and bandages. Floof, looking the other way, you can see and hear the echoing cries and chirps of Ulman Tellis as she cries out to one direction, uttering commands in this bird-like language to a number of individuals before soaring down directly beside you all. Her long, inspective neck and growing eyes narrowing and focusing back and forth like the lenses of a camera as she inspects the injured, looking at you all as well, but focusing immediately at those who are in more dire straits. Those barely conscious and those completely unconscious and barely still among the living that you managed to pull from the jaws of death below the rocky waves and in that inhospitable cavern. As this is going on, what are you all doing?
I'm helping however I can to carry maybe bodies where Ulman tells me, or doing what I can to get the injured where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, come quickly. Bring them to me. Bring them up here, please.
And you feel there's a pull as one of these individuals, one of the Umbral Hunters, you can see the scarred flesh where the feathers have all but been burned away around one of the wings, leaving just this injured flesh that has stopped rotting and decaying and slowly being eaten away by that mucousy material, now cleared away, but the wounds far too damaged on this wing to allow this individual to take flight until some sort of intense care is taken upon them. But you can see as you carry them towards the edge, a number of more able-bodied Aarakocra take your place, nodding to you all as they take your place under their shoulder and begin to spread wings and carry them up towards one of the various larger huts and homes on one of the upper levels. Dazes and Trash, what are you doing?
I feel like I'm probably failing to provide substantial aid considering the emotions that my mind is running through. But I will at least offer them that jar of the stuff that one Aarakocra gave me before. I'll offer it back to them just in case they're able to use it. Because it seems like it's more useful for them to use it for them than us. And I'll help where I can, even though I'm probably very unfocused.
You go to offer the ointment that you gathered up in the caverns, but you can already see that there are a number of individuals as they push one of the sort of makeshift nurses and midwives kind of pushes it back towards you, urging you that and pointing towards a larger container of a similar oil, as they urge you to keep, unable to communicate as they don't speak in common, but just thanking you nonetheless. You see this intensity of thankfulness and understanding, but you get the understanding with your passive insight that that it's kind of this motherly, we'll handle it from here, but you see that relief and satisfaction and intense thankfulness that no words are really needed to understand as you watch them begin to take care immediately for these individuals. You sense in this community that there's a more conglomerated sense of family, that there really aren't individual family units, that there are some sort of blood ties to different groups, but there's an overarching familial presence and relationship everyone here in this valley, not just those who are directly tied by birth. But nonetheless, you get this strong sense of thankfulness and appreciation. But as you're seeing this, and you begin to pocket the ointment once again, you do notice that there is an individual approaching you all, and approaching rapidly. A bronze-scaled dragonborn. Gamil is approaching you all. He has a sense, you see in his face this confusion, but also just general alarm, as well as heightened sense of trying to understand the situation. You get this soldier's mentality of understanding what is trying to piece together what had occurred with the little bits here and there. But he sees you all immediately, sees the wounds across you, and the fact that you are conscious, and more so conscious, but capable, as he approaches you all.
Are you all right? You all look like you have gone through much. What has happened here?
Big fight. Where are you at?
Unfortunately, I am not permitted to leave at this time. Although I am a guest here, I am not among the trusted of the tribe for reasons due to my lineage and past associations. I hope you understand. I wish nothing more to leave, but for the protection of these people, the Elder wishes me to remain, as I know a great deal, enough that an intelligent individual could find this place and who wished harm on these people.
I give one of those little up-down, judgmental, size-up looks, and leave it at that.
You see that he looks you and eyes you up and down, and then looks down at... he has a pair of short swords at both sides of his hips. And he has the posture, the very obvious posture of a soldier as he looks up at you, his chest not so much bolstered out in a presumptuous manner, but in a confident manner, but looks at you.
You must understand, I hate not being able to leave here. I am a man of integrity, and I value being able to help in any way I can. I am a warrior of this land. That is why I'm asking you now to please share what you know. I wish nothing more than to urge the action of the Elder in this case. I will hope that what has transpired here will urge him to see reason and to take up my offer to help. You have encountered similar creatures. What the Hermann call the Vash. So have I. I believe the death of the prince of this land can be laid at their feet as well. But I need your help. I need your help or others will die. I fear for what we are not seeing here. There are too many of these attacks to be random. I am not a fool. So I ask that you share what you know, that I might share my own experiences, so that we may learn from each other.
I'll start explaining the things, but in Floof fashion, and feel like I'm struggling. I can't find the right words that are
I'll fill in
intelligent.
the blanks.
And yeah, I'll look to Floof and Dazes, or Trash and Dazes for help.
I believe your companion's heart is in the right place, although he is not the most articulate individual.
I squint my eyes at him.
I mean no disrespect. You are a fine warrior. That much I can see. But to say you are a bolsterous commander would be a bit of a stretch.
You speak truly.
I squint at Aziz.
Please, what did you see? What happened?
So I guess we can start with the encounter that we just had with I'll give them the whole story, although I think I'll leave out the identity of Ada. But I'll detail the monster and the big chunk of lunarium that came out of it.
Wait. You encountered a multi-armed tentacle squid creature. So there's more than one. I do not have the strongest of memory of what occurred the night that I failed my charge, but what I do remember the most is I remember a creature. Not quite as large as what you say, but a creature nonetheless with barbed tentacles and not of this world. No, nothing natural, of course. Something I fear is a remnant of a bygone era.
Could it have been the same one?
I fear they are different, and yet they are too similar to ignore. And their connection to the lunarium. Our encounter was among the mines. Please, come with me if you don't mind. We should perhaps leave the tribesmen to their people. I feel we would only get in their way, but I would love to speak with you all in private if you don't mind.
I agree with the last part. I do feel like I'm in the way.
I will follow Camille.
Trash, do you follow as well?
I don't know if I should or not.
It's up to you.
Seeing your confusion, I'm gonna ask, where little metal man?
That's something I'm a little bit worried about. So maybe I hang back and try to speak to someone about his whereabouts.
Okay.
Well, what we can do, we can let Camille know that we'll join him later if you're more comfortable with that after we
Yeah.
handle our billet business.
Okay.
I'll tell Camille, tired now. Where meet you?
I am just up the way in a temporary abode, a guest house, if you will.
And he points to just a little ways up one of the step paths that's not often used, as most of the Aarakocra, tend to fly wherever they go within the valley. But he points to a pretty discernible segment of one of the second or the third floor or third level on the southern side of the valley. Come see me when you are rested. We will speak in private. But until then, I wish you good fortune and good health. As he steps away with a soft bow and begins to head away and seemingly heading towards what appears to be the direction of the elders' property. But you all, in this hustle and bustle of early morning activity, the injured being rushed to various locations for treatment, as others are discussing with Zaisha, the vast majority, although acknowledging your presence, and a few, as they pass, bowing in a thankful manner, tend to give you all a wide berth if they haven't directly spoken with you, not out of any type of prejudice but mostly out of just an uncomfortable distance, as they don't know how to either, or don't feel comfortable speaking in common, or don't feel comfortable speaking with outsiders in general. But you do see this sort of thankfulness, those you have encountered with, passing by, grabbing your hands. You see a number of Aarakocra, a few not even able to speak any type of common, but a few words, those words being a very garbled version of it, but a thank you. And, nodding and pressing their forehead into your hands in an extremely humble and thankful manner. As you see this strong sense of gratitude from a number of these individuals, those that were closest to those that went missing or were thankfully recovered. But you also see a number that are deeply in grief, those that did not return.
Mm-hmm.
Those that unfortunately fell during this unfortunate incident. You see, although the tears flow differently in bird-like eyes, nonetheless, the sign of pain in mortal eyes is ubiquitous from people to people. It is just as happiness can be seen on the faces of all those who live on the continent, so can sadness and grief. As you see a number of individuals, some falling to their knees in grief and sadness, others barely able to speak. You see the stunned faces as they try to come to terms with what has occurred. But nevertheless, what you see, this grief is short-lived, as this is what you gather is these people are quite not entirely desensitized to death, but you see that they understand that death is a part of life and that they must cope with it quickly, especially in such a dangerous place as this. This being the Verdant Embrace, one of the few areas of sanctity in this otherwise very dangerous region of the continent. Gathering this all in and trying to gather your thoughts, what would you all like to do?
hasn't exactly been the best time to speak to someone, but I kind of wanted to speak to one of the heads and just inform them of Billet's disappearance and because I know that hopefully once they recuperate, they may be able to definitely search much faster and quicker than we can on foot, and I know that they're very protective and secretive of their location anyway, and I just don't want there to be a misunderstanding of Billet's disappearance seen as kind of nefarious, and so I'd just like to get that out there before it becomes a thing. Certainly, and perhaps later on, if I can find some time, I would have tried to just do sending to Catherine and just kind of inform her of the creature we came across and how we found embedded in its body, again, the core, and just kind of pass that information, because it's something we've been kind of working on and discussing.
Sure. Are you going to try that sending with the stone right now?
I can try if there's like a little like pocket where I can just kind of get away with just like a little
Sure.
bit of a
You
space away just to kind of communicate.
You step aside into a segment of sort of these rocky stairs. There's a few segments that are kind of covered from the direct line of sight of the sunlight as it beams down, growing ever higher into the sky above the valley. As others are focused on the matter at hand, you kind of slip in between the rocks, if you will. Quite adept at moving into areas otherwise impassable by others. You step aside and pull the small sending stone from within the bag of holding, holding it between your hands. What would you like to say?
I followed, by the way.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay. Are you trying to do this covertly or?
Well, I mean, it's okay that covertly, I guess, away from like the air cockroach, but it's okay
Gotcha.
if Floof is in attendance for this. But basically, just hope you're well. We encountered a creature with many tentacles and the ability to penetrate our minds.
Hi, Catherine.
Embedded.
You have 2 less words.
I know. That's what I'm counting. I'm like, damn it. Embedded lunarium found in its body. Here's 25.
There's a few moments that pass. And at first you hear a soft, gentle static. A bit strange, as most of the time it's just a gentle hum. Almost like a gentle vibration of the stone before a message is sent or received. But in this case, you hear an audible hissing and static like you've never heard before from this stone. Before, ever so faintly, you begin to hear the soft female voice of your friend and mentor come across, but it is extremely jarbled, and the message otherwise normally comes quite clearly. This time it is very staticky. It is cut up in pieces and bits, and the only bit that you get is...
Hey. Look to find. Must avoid. Wentan.
And then, as those last Bits and pieces of words come out over the stone. You feel it begin to shake violently before breaking in half in your palm.
I had a bad feeling about this. Oh, Jesus. What did she say? Look for... What was the last word?
What you heard was the words, they, looking to find, must avoid. And the final words were Wentan. Capital K-E-R, capital W-E-N-T-A-N.
W-E-N-T-A-N?
Yes. So capital K, capital W. 2 words.
Wentan. Does that mean anything to me right now? Have I ever heard that name or phrase before?
Give me just a moment real quick. I don't believe you understand the words.
Okay, probably not.
Hold on one sec. I don't believe you have that language. No. But Floof, you're standing there with them, correct? With
Correct.
Trash?
Yep.
You recognize that language.
Oh, okay. What did I interpret that as?
It is very old. That name, it's a proper name in ancient Elvish. Ancient Aelin Prima. The name translates roughly into common as Spell Eater.
I'll say Spell Eater.
Spell Eater.
Care what Wentan, Spell Eater.
Okay. I don't know if that further illuminates anything for me, having heard that.
Is there
But if
anything I
not,
know about it that I would share, or would I just recognize the name or the words?
You can give me a history check. I mean, you can certainly try. This is gonna be a high DC.
Are the both of us trying to roll for this, or just
You're
more
both
Floof,
welcome
'cause Floof
to.
would have had?
I mean, you recognize that it's Elvish at this point. Okay.
Or should I help Floof? Like, since he's the one. with
Yeah,
the
you can
background
help
on
if you
this?
want to give him the help action and give him advantage. You can roll again if you'd like. Floof.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a dirty 20.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And then a natural failure.
Oh. Well.
The dichotomy of the D20 right there. You do recognize that this is ancient Aelin Prima. That it is a form of Elvish. It is very old. But you do not recognize the name Wentan or its common translation as Spell Eater.
All right. Ancient Aelin Prima, Old Elvish, no more.
Well, I guess I can just share this with Floof and maybe later Dazes, or maybe I wave Dazes over if I can. Now that it's all done and said, I kind of try to wave him over so I can share this information with him as well.
All right.
I see you do that and yell, Dazes!
Oh my god.
Oh,
and wave
Jesus.
you over.
I'll shush you while I come over.
I'll put a hand over my mouth.
I'll just communicate that I just had this experience. I sended. I heard this cracked in half. Floof shared that this could potentially translate to Spell Eater. I still don't really know what that means. Ancient Elvish, maybe it's a person that we have to find, or something. But before all this, I kind of had a bad feeling because the last communication I had with Catherine was she said that somebody was following us or me, and to be careful, and she wasn't able to elaborate. And so I had this weird feeling in the at the back of my blob, I don't know, that just something was wrong, and it is, and I don't know where she is, and I'm worried about her. Like she'll take care of herself. She's fine, but still, and something's after us, and I'm overwhelmed, everyone. I don't
Take it one step at a time. We have a lot of things going on right now. It seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would we all like to do? Is maybe we should still speak to someone regarding Billet, and maybe we should try to I'm not too sure if
Do you think it would be unwise to inform someone here that there's that someone was potentially following you or us?
I mean, they were so careful. I don't know, unless this individual or group is extremely adept at moving through the desert. I don't know. I hope the people will be protected, but I guess we should at least let them know that we can't linger any further, and perhaps once we help them and get their people rested and healed up, maybe we should inform them that we've probably got to get going.
Yeah, that could be it.
Good. Hate this place. Everyone weird.
Yeah, so, well, I suppose so.
Alright, well, I guess we should flag someone down. Well, not flag someone down, that's probably not the right way to say it. Would we have an idea of, like, the right person to let know about this?
I feel like at this point, given your experiences here in the Verdant Embrace, you would understand that there's a number of individuals that kind of dictate the goings-on and the function as sort of higher level leadership. Obviously, you have the village elder. You have the spiritual heart of the tribe in Olmontelis. You have the sort of military leader of the tribe and the hunters of the umbral hunters of the tribe in Zaisha. And then you have smaller individuals that kind of dictate the day and day, harvesting of things like that, but among the most capable and prominent individuals of power in the verdant embrace, it would likely be one of those three that you'd be wanting to discuss based on your understanding of what you've seen thus far among the various tribespeople. Also, you've noticed that among the tribespeople, there seems to be a limited amount that speak fluent common. And those are the individuals that you've seen thus far that seem to have a firm grasp of the common tongue.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll say, Uma know weird stuff. Ask her about Spell Eater.
Yeah, she might be a good resource. And perhaps we talk to Zaisha about Billet.
Yeah, that seems like a good course of action.
Okay.
We gotta find him though.
You can see pretty quickly, Zaisha is still down here in the base valley of the Verdant Embrace as she discusses with a number of the hunting party. You can see that she's in the process of issuing orders at this time. You don't see any sign of Tellus as they seemingly are heading the effort to tend to the wounded and alleviate the stresses of those involved in this situation more so than anything else. You do see higher above discussing with a number of tribesmen, including several hunters, moving back and forth between the base of the valley and the upper platforms of the walls. High on the edge with your Floof and Dazes, you would see this first and foremost. You do see Elder Olmangerm high above speaking to a number of individuals as they come and go, seemingly taking orders as such as he kind of directs from a high point above.
I mean, I guess since Asia's close.
Okay. Let's go to her then.
Yeah. And inform her about Billet's disappearance.
Okay.
And while we're thinking about it, it might be a long shot since it's been so long, but I would think I'd have clocked his scent at some point. Could I try and get a tracker, kind of see if I could smell out Billet's scent?
You can certainly try. I would say this would, at this point, given the amount of time that's passed since you've last seen them, that any scent remaining, even, and given that they really don't have a continuous scent like you would notice from an organic individual, that this would be an extremely difficult thing to do. You can certainly try, but you'd be doing so at disadvantage given the amount of time.
I'll give it a whirl. So
Okay.
what, perception disadvantage?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... You really, given the amount of movement of sand through this valley, the amount of wind that's blown through, the amount of blood that's been in your nostrils in the last 10 hours, it's extremely difficult. The amount of sweat. You pick up more body odor from the individuals around this area, as well as the strong scent of oils and herbs that are being crushed. I mean, there's just a plethora of current and continuous scents in this area that far overwhelm any scent that you might have picked up from your companion.
Okay. I say can't smell him.
But you look from afar as Aisha is in the process of directing various hunters as some take off in groups, beginning to make circular passes over the valley, heading higher and higher, moving in various directions, some heading back towards the coastline to continue searches, moving in always in groups of 2 to 3 at any given point, trying to limit the liability that, more of these creatures may still be around. But as she's giving these orders back and forth in this chirping language, you see her turn and look at you all, anticipating you have something to address with her, as she gives her last set of orders and then begins to tentatively approach towards you all.
Yes? Did you have something for me?
We hate to add to the confusion and the chaos during this time, but I feel if I do not mention it now, it may perhaps turn into a more dire situation, and I hope it doesn't get to that. But I had a bit of a strange interaction with our metal companion Billet when we were working together the other day, helping at the smith. And
Now that you mention it,
after-
I have not seen your friend in some time.
yes,
Is he missing? Is he all right?
he is missing. When we gathered together when there was the incident, and there was the kind of fish folk that started attacking. That is the last time I saw him.
He was not with us at the coast, though. You're saying he's been missing since we left to address the incident?
Yes.
Yes. Very well.
You can see she lets out this loud, like, cawing screech, this high-pitched, almost wail, not wail like a mammal wail, but like this loud screeching, high-pitched, siren-like call up high into the air, and you hear a few seconds later a response back in a similar sort of high-pitched resonance from high above in the sky as 2 individuals begin to change direction and begin circling from above in an opposite pattern from the way they were moving previously, before she turns back to look at you all.
We are stretched a bit thin at the moment as our forces are trying to secure the valley as best we can, while a number of those we have available are seeking aid from some of the lesser tribes around the mesas. I have offered what I can. If we see any signs of your friend, we will let you know as soon as possible. But it is difficult in this hour. It is not our primary period of search. We are far more, how would you call it, nighttime predators more so than in the midst of the day. It is difficult as the sun rises both to remain aloft in this, the gusts of wind grow strong during the day as sandstorms can move in from all directions and take flight and make search difficult throughout the mesas and, of course, the western deserts. It is
Understood.
far more manageable in the evenings when things are cooler and the winds are tamer. We will continue the search as best we can in the evening time, but as of right now, I've done all I can.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course. We will discuss further. Might I recommend that you all take a rest? You look like you've been through much, as most of us have at this point.
Yeah, we could definitely use with a bit of rest ourselves.
I know Gamil spoke to me briefly. He wishes to have an audience with the Elder this evening, as well as myself and as well as Ulman Telis. He wishes to speak to you all about what has transpired and perhaps discuss further with the Elder. I'll be direct with you. He came to our people to seek a device. We have Telis has a means of reclaiming old memories. He wishes to use this. It is a gift we hold dear and we do not hand out lightly. Only among select few, as it can be temperamental. But I have no doubt this is what he wishes to seek, especially given the current circumstances. But that is discussion for this evening. Please, do get some rest and take some time to recover.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Of course. And at this point, you watch as she turns and spreads her long wingspan and takes flight up towards one of the circling groups high above the split of the western edge of the mesa, heading westward with that group that she had spoken to just a moment ago and called out to. As you watch the faintest silhouettes of that trio of Aarakocra move westward till they're out of sight. At this point, what would you all like to do?
Well, if we're gonna meet up with, it seems like everybody tonight, we could just wait.
Yeah, because that will help us kill two birds with one stone, because we were supposed to meet back up with Gamil, and we would like to speak with Montelis. So perhaps we take a rest and we wait for this meeting that night. Unless, Floof, you wanted to go back to Gamil and have an audience with him separate from the rest of the council.
I wait for you, guys.
I'm cool with sleeping. It's been a long night.
Yeah.
I let out a nice big old yawn.
Rest it is.
Okay. As you all head back up, it is a bit of a long trek up the northern side of the Verdant Embrace towards the temporary homestead on one of the elevated levels where you were offered up residence for the time here within the valley. By the time you arrive, your legs are sore, your muscles stiff and tired, your wounds ache, those that remain, as well as the emotional and mental strain that this evening has taken among all of you in various ways.
And as you take this moment to rest your thoughts as best you can, to let the weariness overtake you, you find that sleep comes quickly and easily in your tired state, and you all can take a long rest.
Excellent. Give me those sweet spell slots.
The rest goes by quickly. Although you do take your full long rest, it feels woefully insufficient given the amount of stress of the past day or so. Both mentally and physically and emotionally drained to a near severe extent at times. Nevertheless, it is a welcomed reprieve, for at least a brief moment. When you find your eyes opening, it is to the gentle light of several fires around the village, various scents of foods, meats being grilled over open flames, the scent of wild brush being burned in various homes around, as well as off in the distance you hear the shrill cries of the occasional hunter echoed back with a call from the opposite ends, various directions, back and forth. And as you begin to gather your thoughts and center your waking minds, you hear a soft knock on the wooden frame that holds the cloth sort of makeshift cover door of this entrance area to this abode. And you hear a calm voice of Gamil speak to you all. I hope I am not disturbing you all. May I come in?
I don't see why not.
You watch as his scaly hand pushes the tarp aside as he walks in, having changed into his a more formal-looking military attire. Not much unlike the military attire you saw while you were in the city of Tafar among the various students of the dojo, as well as their master, and as you know, Gamil's former master and teacher and uncle. As he presents himself well, a bit of seriousness, even more so than your previous encounter that morning with him. But he nods at you all, understanding, watching that you had most likely just beginning to wake up from your much-needed reprieve. But looks at you all. I apologize if I woke you all. I understand you've been through much. I wish to speak a bit in private before our joint engagement with the Elder and the others. To understand a bit closely, a bit more privately, what you all encountered. This creature you explained is most concerning. My memories of my incident are cloudy, and I came searching the Hermon as they have a
They have an ancient ritual that allows one to relive long forgotten memories. Past traumas, if you will. Or things even older than we understand we witnessed. I am hoping that they will share this ritual with me, that I might unearth forgotten memories, important things that must be known. But as of now, the tribe guards this secret carefully. They see it as important only for a select few. Unfortunately, we of the dynasty, those of the dynasty.
And you hear kind of a sad correction to his first statement.
Well, they don't have the best relationship with the tribes here in the Mesas. It is a tenuous relationship at best. And in recent years, it has begun to reach a boiling point. I fear if it continues, then it may result in an outright war.
That sounds like it would be, well, devastating. To say the
Yes.
least.
It's... Although I respect our people and our customs and our military prowess, as a former commander, one must understand when it is best to approach a situation in a diplomatic way as opposed to reaching for one's sword immediately. I believe in this instance there are too many unknowns. Given my time here in the Embrace, I don't see these people as warmongers or savages, but simply different group living their lives in a different means. I don't believe they are the ones responsible for the death of the former prince. But given the hostilities of the recent decades, it is understandable the miscommunication. Also, the unwillingness to allow one such as myself to participate in deeply sacred rituals. Nevertheless, I must ask that you all help me. I wish to protect my people, whether they acknowledge me or not, whether I am considered defamed and outcast or not. I do not wish my home to come to harm, nor do I want to see these people suffer either. I believe something else is wrong. Something is very wrong here. But I need your help. I need you to make the Elder understand.
I'll look at my compatriots.
I'll shrug and say, I don't understand anything.
That's fair.
You watch as Gamil looks specifically towards you, Floof. You are one much like their spiritual leader, their heart, this Tellus. You have similar gifts, do you not?
Gifts, maybe, but not like her. She weird.
But nonetheless, you have gifts of the natural world. A rarity in this day and age.
Grew up in forest. Me and nature are one.
I see. Perhaps you are the most qualified to... I don't know what they call it. It is a... It is some sort of device. It carries a special essence to it that helps reclaim forgotten memories.
I know of it.
Does Aisha mention a name when she was telling us about it?
Zaisha hasn't mentioned anything about...
This
Well-
is the machine that I had my memories in, right?
Based
Or
on the way
was she
he's
dumping it?
describing it, you're fairly confident that's what he's referring to.
Okay, then yeah, I say I know of machine.
You remember Tellus describing it as the Cistern of Reminiscence.
I will say Sister Reno of Reminiscence.
Gamil looks at you a bit oddly, but nevertheless acknowledges that you seem to be discussing the same thing. Perhaps a bit of it lost in translation, but there is a joint understanding.
Then you've experienced what it can do. That it can unearth forgotten memories. Things of the past.
Somberly, I say yes.
I feel like the day the prince died. There's a part of me that is a part of my memory that is missing. Something in that memory is important. I feel it. I can't explain it. I don't know how to describe it. But I feel it is with utmost importance. I have to share this. I have to know what happened that day. When you mentioned this tentacled creature, I felt with the most certainty I've had as a soldier, as a man, as a mortal being. I must know what this is. Something is missing. Something very, very important. And I can't remember it. So I ask that you, as much as you can, please try to convince the Elder.
Say not my machine, but I ask.
Thank you.
Bad machine.
Memories are what we make of them. Good or bad, it is, I believe, is how we view them. In the same way that and he kind of pulls up one of his swords out of its sheath. The weapon is only as just as its wielder, the one who points it in whatever direction, good or bad. It is the user that that dictates its potential. And he slides the sword back into its sheath. And as he's saying this, you get this tinge of kind of deja vu, yet I guess deja vu is kind of the word. You feel very much a like you're seeing just a younger version. You can definitely see both the training of his former master, as well as their sort of moral compass in this individual. Nevertheless, please take your time to have something to eat, and we will meet at the Elder's abode in due time. And he points to some foodstuffs that were left for you all while you were resting.
I dig in.
Grab some before Floof eats it all.
It is very heavily spiced, kind of salty, but the texture is quite delicious. It's definitely there's a heavy char to it. It definitely was something that was heavily grilled and blackened, but probably likely some sort of heavily spiced preserved fish of some kind, as it's got that flaky sort of texture when you bite into it, and it has this this compacted, soft, doughy material, almost like a tamale, sort of, and it's not really wrapped. It's just like this doughy sort of that has this kind of smoky, charred flavor to it from not only the meat that's inside of it, but the means of which it was finally baked and sort of cooked. You sense there's this sort of this char on the outside, as if it was placed on some sort of hot stone or something. As you see sort of the bubblingness of kind of like a corn or flour tortilla, but it's thick enough that there's still sort of like a soft, doughy texture in between it and the meat. But nonetheless, after not eating for very long, it tastes amazing.
I eat to my full.
Very well. Is there anything else you all would like to do before accompanying Gamil to the residence of the Elder?
I don't know if there is anything else to do.
Yeah, can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go see her.
You all head up with Gamil. It's a bit of a trek, to the point where almost certain segments to get up to the upper levels, you're almost climbing some of these steep outcroppings. But it doesn't take too long as you watch as Gamil's kind of you can see he's kind of made this trek a few times, perhaps many times, as he seems to move with relative confidence towards the residence of Elder Ulmangam, the dark, raven-feathered Aarakocra, leader of the Hermon tribes. Inside his abode, the location that you all had first met Gamil, the Elder himself, Tellus, as well as some of the other miscellaneous hunters in accompaniment of Zaisha, You find this time the same collection of individuals gathered around a small wood fire pit and with a hanging cooking pot just over the fire. As you smell this soft, herbaceous scent, and as you get closer and enter the residence, you can definitely tell it is some sort of steeped tea of some kind. But directly across from the door, you see Elder Ulman himself, and I'll go ahead and bring up some of these character images for you all, just so we have a visual representation here. Oh, I'm sorry. That was from earlier because hadn't come back to this. But let's go ahead and pull this up. We have Elder Gam there. And we have the Ayan Hakima Ulmantelis. Oh, shit. Hold that away. Sorry. Oh, oops. Oh, show the players. There we go. There we go. Let me spread these out a little bit. And these are also in your journals as well if they go down. And then, of course, we have Gamil.
While you're pulling this up, I'm curious, maybe I'm overlooking it or it just doesn't exist, but is there a way to add notes to these arts, kind of? Like, I don't know, it'd be nice if I could, like, you know.
I think you can add notes in your journal. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I usually keep all my notes in my separate notepad.
Yeah, I have like a notepad too and stuff, but it'd be nice if I could like click on Ulman and be like, just write
Sure.
story beats as they happen.
Right. So, and then there's a number of other of Umbral hunters there in attendance as well within this gathering within the Elder's abode. But he motions for you all to take a seat. There's a number of cushions spread around this circular sort of main atrium area.
Please, have a seat. I wish to discuss what you all witnessed along the coast. Then we can discuss further.
And as he says, discuss further, he kind of looks over at Gamil specifically before looking back at you.
But please, Zaisha has explained to me that you encountered something tremendously dangerous in caverns along the coast, as well as strange fish creatures that attacked our people. What do you make of this situation? What do you believe its goals were? I wish to know from those who encountered it firsthand.
Its goals.
I'm gonna say, Vosh, one goal is kill and destroy.
In times past, I would likely agree with you, but these recent creatures, they are not simply mindless killing machines of the past. From what Saisha has said, these creatures, they have made tools, weapons. They strategize like hunters. Like us. They learn, they take advantage of the situation. These are no mere beasts, dangers to be put down for the fledgling hunters. They operate in they think like us. Not like a pack of wolves, but a tribe, if you will. That is concerning. It seems you all suffered the brunt, well, other than those who unfortunately succumbed to this attack, but you are the few to survive the worst of it. So I value your insight, your understanding.
I'm gonna say, weird lady enter brain, maybe all under control.
It spoke to you. This Vash, it spoke to you. It can communicate.
One way talk, I couldn't fight it. She, I'll point to Trash, attacked us under control.
That is alarming news. If these creatures can infiltrate our people, make them do what they would otherwise never wish. To hurt innocent members of our tribe, to use our own people against themselves. This is nothing like we've experienced in the past.
No, this is unique. This is strange. The Vash. Never like before. Never like this.
At this point, you see Gamil sort of straighten up and look at the elder.
I wish to use your gifts, please, sir. I believe what these newcomers have experienced is the same as my own. I fear for my people as well as yours. I fear what it would make them do to each other. I fear that if we are not to understand our enemy, we may be forced to turn on each other. You watch as the elder puts his clawed hand up. So, we have discussed this. You are a guest here. There is no telling how the ritual would react with your kind.
I'll chime in. I'll say, I learn a lot from Machine. Worst case, he die. And I shrug.
Yes, yes. This one has the gift. The gift of the world. Yes, yes. Very rare, very unique, very special. What could we learn? Never has this kind ever used it before. We could learn much. We could learn new things, old things.
No. We have tried to share with his kind. They steal our land. They burden the people, the land, the creatures here. They drive the worms into a frenzy every time they mine in the desert. How do we know the Vosh is not of their making? You look at Gamil about to... You can see that there's a visible frustration, bordering on anger at this point, but you can tell he's doing his best to bite his tongue for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Dazes, Trash, what are you doing while this is going on?
I guess I may try to chime in and just, without interrupting, but just kind of looking for a pause in the conversation. If I may be permitted to speak.
Of course. Speak your mind.
Perhaps your accusations of his people are true, and perhaps they are the cause of this growing threat from the Vosh, but if that's the case, then my suggestion to this council is then even more so to allow this ritual to occur, for he would be, I believe, the best candidate to go back to his people and advocate for this group and advocate for everything he's experienced here as a guest and everything he's seen. Because he, although he will be treading lightly himself, for his people have kind of, his family has turned his back on him, maybe this will illuminate that he is innocent and that he has a rightful place in the royal chambers and can make a difference in uniting the peoples and perhaps going after the Vosh in a way that is needed and necessary, because no one knows more intimately than the people in this room the threat that the Vosh, especially now knowing that they're evolving, it seems they're getting more intelligent. I think the world needs to know about this threat.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Oh God, I hope I roll good. That's a nat 20!
All right.
That was a good roll.
That was a great roll!
Little one, you speak with wisdom beyond your years. Ultimately, I must protect my people. Do not wish to owe anything to outside powers but I am not beyond knowing when a lack of understanding is a detriment to us all. Tell us.
Yes, yes, yes.
Prepare the cistern. But be very careful. At the first sign of danger, you will end the ritual. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, of course. Yes, of course. No, no danger, no danger. As I have never had this opportunity. I have never had this chance. Myself, yes, but never myself and another.
And you look as her head just kind of turns in this awkward sort of like owl-like rotation as her eyes focus on you, Floof.
Perhaps with his help, we can alleviate the troubles. Yes, 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 yes. Never have we had two present here that can utilize the gifts. Yes, yes.
And as she's saying this, it's almost, you can't tell if she's genuinely excited because it comes off as, well, you can see there's this excitement, not more so not from like the understanding and the help of their people, but just a genuine excitement bordering on like creepy curiosity. And it's a little unsettling as these eyes grow wide and stare at you, Floof. And even like Trash, you and you, Dazes, can kind of look, and as you kind of look at Tellus, kind of stare at Floof, you get like second hand creeped out from this.
I make a sideways glance.
It's very unsettling. It's like if you've just experienced, you turn your head and you're not expecting it, and like you're outside and you see an owl staring back at you from a tree in a like the most like focused manner, just not moving, And like just not knowing when staring is extremely unsettling.
Perhaps we might all learn something today. But I must warn you, if you are not prepared, this ritual, this cistern, it can claim more than just your life. Those who are not prepared, well, we will speak more in due time. Zaisha, continue your patrols. Have the other hunters look for any other signs of irregularity along the coast. We must maintain our supplies, our source of food. Our people come first. All others are to remain in the embrace. And you look over, she nods wordlessly and nods to you all before exiting, followed by the all but one of the hunters that remains behind beside the elder. One of the older hunters, but one that you can see has had significant scarring in battles, but stands beside them sort of as a sentinel-like figure. At this point, Tellus has already begun to, skitter up to their feet and begin moving towards the exit of the abode as well. But just before they exit, they turn, their head going completely 180 degrees back at you all, still having that sort of creepy stare and looking at you all.
Oh, jeez.
Come soon, we be ready. Yes. Ready, we'll learn much, yes!
As they dart out, just gone. At this point, you all can kind of see where the unsettling, uneasiness is coming from your companion after solo interactions with this individual. You don't sense there's any sort of direct malice, but you also don't sense any type of reservation in their probing and their value and understanding. They have this weird sort of desire to learn anything and everything, and it comes off as very unsettling. And they don't seem to care. Which makes it that much worse.
I ask that you all please take care. And let me know what you find in this one's memories. It could mean whether or not we... Well, we will discuss further in the future. Please. I have more discussions to have with others. But... And you look over as Gamil steps up and gives a deep bow before looking to you all.
Well, we should go now. Yes.
As he stands up completely and begins walking towards the exit.
I will also bow before leaving.
The elder gives a nod to you all as he pulls open a ladle and into a bowl begins pouring himself some of the tea from the center urn. But outside, you see Tellus has already begun flying upwards to her sort of observatory that you were at previously. Floof is on the highest level of this same side of the valley, on one of the upper portions of the mesa. You can see all the strange devices sticking out of the building that they've carved through the rock, so they jet out in various areas. And looking directly up, it's like this weird spider web of telescopes and various things sticking out, pointed up in all directions, some to observe the stars, some pointing out directly across, observing the horizon, and then other ones just these hanging weird symbolic sort of wind chimes hanging all over the place that you can hear as the wind whips up through this upper portion of the valley.
Thank you all. I was extremely concerned that they would reject us entirely, but I believe your understanding and your insight was enough to perhaps sway them in a direction, but I believe the worst is still yet to come. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm nervous. This I have heard and tell that this ritual can be a bit dangerous for those who are not prepared.
I give him a pat on the back and say, "You should be nervous."
Thank you. I
Not
think.
comforting.
But nevertheless, it as you all ascend upwards with a bit of help, as you notice that there's several sections that, as much as you might try, are just not accessible by climbing or directly stepping. But there are a number of tribesmen in this area that, with a bit of gesturing and seeing who you all are, tentatively assist you all to get to the upper platforms of the northern side here of the valley, at the uppermost portion. Floof, you recognize this building as you've been here before. You can smell, even at this distance, now you all get the same scent, this strong scent of herbs and various burning incense-like brush and things of that nature. It is palpable the closer you get to the edge of this abode, as you see now all these jetted out sort of telescoping devices with lenses and things made from sand and other heated materials made to observe the various celestial bodies and things of that nature. But as you grow closer to this building, you can hear just rapid, crazed movement inside this abode. And as you grow closer,
Not yet! Please wait! Just a moment! Let's gather!
and then you hear this crash of just random containers inside on the other side of this draped tarp opening.
Okay! Don't come yet! Wait!
But what would you all like to do as you wait for Tellus to arrange this ritual?
I asked, do you require some assistance?
No! Stay! Too dangerous! Don't want to blow up!
I'm good. I also don't want to blow up.
You can see now that this doesn't help to calm, even though Gamil has the outward impression of in the physique of a well-toned soldier. There's no less a bit of concern here that you can see, Dazes. I believe and Floof as well. Both your proximity and your passive insight, you can kind of see that there's a bit of nerve showing here. Both the combination of the information he has thus far, but also just the strangeness of Tellus and this situation and at large has got him a bit on heightened alert.
Can I ask you, Floof, if you have any, I don't know, suggestions or advice, I suppose, for Gamil as he embarks on this strange journey that you, I suppose, have some experience with in a way?
Let's. I'll say, focus. Stay calm. Details matter.
Of course, yes. It is the details that I lack right now. The day the prince was killed, I don't remember much. We were inspecting the western mines in the dunes. You all are familiar with the Lunarium. Our kingdom is the primary refinery for this material. It is the basis for many modern advances, both magical and inert, but it allows for expedited travel as well as light and extenuated power, and as well as various magical advancements by the magistrate as well. As such, we are responsible for protecting the trade routes and, by extension, the workers. Well, I would say I would be lying if I said that the kingdom is doing a good job of protecting the workers. It is a dangerous trade. To even enter the desert is a dangerous trek, and an even more dangerous operation to remove the Lunarium from below the dunes in various caverns. It is the region is swarmed with, as you know, massive, dangerous, venomous worms. If you are lucky, you are simply devoured whole. If you are bitten, you die a far more painful, slow death. But nevertheless, it is a lucrative business for those who are otherwise trapped within the lower castes of the society. Nevertheless, it seems the individuals that truly grow fat from this industry are not those that take on the greatest burden. The prince was not happy with the current circumstances and wished to increase funding for defenses along the trade routes where the miners are most vulnerable, as well as, of course, deep within the mines themselves. And where they are by far the most susceptible, as the worms, they are attracted by movement and vibration, and of course a craven, foolish miner banging a chisel against the wall is no less probably the easiest way to attract a worm. Nevertheless, they mine in shifts in short bursts to free the material from its caverns. That way they can be brought to the surface and, of course, swiftly removed in armored caravans.
That certainly does sound particularly dangerous.
Quite. And of course, as more of the material is mined, the miners must push ever deeper or find new pockets to mine, which inevitably leads to uncertainty and attracts greater danger in the process. The prince and I were accompanied by a contingent of our finest silver talents. He wanted to see firsthand against our better judgment, but I've always had a problem with saying no. Not only is he family, but he was a friend, a dear, dear friend. And, well, I sympathize with his wishes. And of course I wish to also help our people. Sometimes against the better judgment of obeying our superiors, I agreed to accompany him to the mines. He agreed to only go as deep as necessary, but we found ourselves deeper than anticipated in the mines. And next thing I knew, well, that's about all I remember. I woke up in covered in blood and a deep gash across my chest. And you watch as he pulls a bit of the still wrapping around the left side of his chest, and there is a deep, ugly-looking gash going all the way up from down from his collarbone all the way to just below the covering at the center of his abdomen. And when I looked over well, not to go into much detail, but my prince and my friend, he was no longer among the living. I carried his body back to the surface, and I never found the remainder of our contingent. They either fled or they were killed by whatever attacked us. Sometimes I wish that I had simply died down there. And you watch now as he kind of sits down and lets his back kind of press against the cold stone wall of the house that Tellus's residence, as he's kind of staring up a little bit, kind of getting lost in what little he seems to remember.
I'll kind of, I don't know, maybe kneel or sit beside him, and I'll say, this mission that you and the prince shared seems too important to die for. And I'll say I'm sure he's well, I'm sure he's glad that you've made it your mission as well. And well, I think if you need anything from us to help you with this mission, I'm sure we wouldn't mind lending you our aid as much as we are able.
That is much appreciated. It is more than you know. It is rare to meet outsiders who would even stop to care, regardless of any station I may have had now or in the past. Especially now.
And as he's saying that, you hear this large crash of what sounds like bits of metal and pottery breaking. As suddenly this extended neck and the head of Tellus sticks out through the tarp opening of the front door.
We are ready now. Yes, come.
It's like watching a whack-a-mole stick out of the side, and almost instantly after saying that, it pops back into the house.
Well, shall we be going? No time like the present.
As he stands up and begins heading in. Do you all follow?
Slowly?
Yes.
Yes.
As you all enter the abode of Ulmontellus, as you pull apart or pull aside the curtain, this fabric reeded curtain, you're immediately greeted with this strong scent of like incense and herbs and oils and things of that nature just suffused in this space. A scent that you've gotten off of Tellus up until now, but it is like tenfold stronger in here, almost like a lingering cloud within this space, to the point where it's almost like foggy, like you've stepped into like a smoker's bar, but full of this like wafting still air of this incense and herbs and oils billowing up. And in the center of the room, in this sort of kind of rounded sunken portion where there's various like sort of raggedy old pillows and definitely very unkept space, full of various parchments and etchings on the walls themselves, various instruments and like oddly shaped, what you can imagine is some sort of device of some kind, something that the items that look like dowsing rods that you've seen in the past trash used by various members of the magistrate, but objectively ignored by some as strange and unnecessary, given magical aptitude that just whether or not they even work correctly or at all is questionable. Various devices like that, very homeopathic, various tinctures and things all spread across these wooden shelves, stacked in rows upon rows and rows precariously in all directions. It is just chaos spread around in this location. But you can tell she's sort of just pushed everything to the side to give way for all these people. Everything just looks like it was sort of, Moses parting the Red Sea of junk to either side of this room, to give way to this center portion, this stone apparatus, this almost rounded, half circular, with a square base pedestal cistern full of this bubbling liquid that is this extremely cloudy grayish silver color, not unlike the color that you saw previously, Floof, but now you can see that Tellus is in the process of dumping a few drops here, a few sprigs of herbs here, whole handfuls and just upturned bottles of liquids elsewhere into this mixture, and it seems far more volatile than what you saw previously. Hence the intensity of the scent in here. It is, for your trained nose, it is very overpowering in this location. Like walking into a Yankee Candle and trying to smell every candle in rapid succession. It is, without anything to like clear your mind, it is just like sensory overload in this regard. But nevertheless, they have kind of gathered now as this silvery liquid begins to part and become a bit more clear at times, but then there's still swirls of that silvery particulate in the water, or what seems to be some type of liquid. You're not certain at this point how much of it is actually water and how much of it is other things. But nevertheless, it has now sort of calmed to the similar sort of simmering that you saw earlier. And although it looks to be just on the cusp of boiling, as you get closer, you feel no heat from it. In fact, it's almost chilly, like a fog, as it sort of spreads over, and this soft sort of billowy, smoky edge kind of billows over the edges of this stone apparatus. And she looks to you all. Come closer, come close. Yes. Everyone, come. Urging you all to come close. And then as you grow nearer Floof, she grabs onto your wrist and pulls you closer to her. Yes. We'll need help. We'll need focus. Yes. For one is difficult. Very, very difficult. For two, maybe make easier. We'll need to make easier. Untrained mind. Unwilling mind. Not connected. Must be connected. Must be focused. Must focus. Calm. Focus your mind. As she turns and looks up at Gamil. Her eyes wide. These pupils that dilate and widen like the focal optics of a camera, now completely wide as she stares at Gamil. Focus. Memories. Focus. Exact time. Focus. And her voice sort of calms and sort of reverberates in this smoky presence as she says this, and you can kind of feel, Floof, in the proximity to her, the same sort of natural energies and magics that you draw upon to cast your spells and change forms, that same sort of essence is beginning to reverberate all in and around Tellus. And then she looks over to you specifically, Floof.
You will need to focus all energies. Yes, energies on him. Contain the thoughts. Spread the mind, the consciousness, the memory, all around.
I look confused, but I'll do my best.
She looks over to you as she puts her talons down kind of on the edge of the cistern, just her fingertips just barely dipping into the liquid.
Yes, yes. Follow. Other side. Yes, yes, yes. Follow. Same thing. Yes.
As she looks over to you, Floof.
I reluctantly follow.
You feel as you dip your fingertips into the cistern again. Happy that it's not you going through this again a bit. But you feel the water looks like it's simmering, like it should be hot. But it's almost chilly. Like a early spring pond. But you feel the bubbliness and the effervescence of this liquid as your fingertips just sink ever so lightly into the edge. And you feel that energy, that reverberation of natural energies that you draw upon beginning to echo back and forth between you and Tellus. And you begin to understand this rhythmic pattern of this magic passing back and forth between you, kind of forming a lattice work across the surface of this liquid, sort of like a net to hold as she looks over at Gamil.
Yes. Come.
And he steps forward slowly, reluctantly.
Now, focus. The time, the memory. You must focus. Think of nothing else. We will direct. Follow to that time. Follow to that memory.
With that, Floof, I would like you to roll me a d20 and add your wisdom modifier, please.
Okay. Wisdom is 2, so that's 13.
May I use Flash of Genius for this?
You can. I'll allow it.
All right. Well, however, I have a beautiful yoga poses tome that I read once upon a time that I'm like, hold
Wait,
your body like this and something.
You said
and then
your
I'll-
wisdom is a +2? I thought your
Me?
wisdom I thought your wisdom was a +3.
Oh, wait a second. Why do I have...
It's whatever your wisdom modifier is, so it's either a +3 or +4, I think.
No, I'm a bozo. I have my character sheet open for a different character. So yes, it is
gotcha.
indeed plus. It's actually +4.
Okay.
So how about that?
So that'd be a 15.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, 13 seems low.
I had the wrong tab
Okay.
open. I was looking at my other
Right.
thing.
Okay. Yeah, it would basically just be a wisdom check. And then you were still going to add that, Trash?
Yeah, I can add my Flash of Genius.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Oh, it's just an add of a flat +4,
Yeah,
correct?
it's my intelligence modifier, which is +4.
Gotcha. So that would make it a 19. So, Floof, as you focus your energies, creating this lattice work, this net of natural energies, And just as you feel the net beginning to sort of separate and de-weave and tangle, you feel the focus of your companion push in behind you as their hand kind of presses up against your back. Their pseudo plasmoid palm presses against your back, and you feel this additional charge as you begin to focus, and your mind begins to weave back and forth as the threads of your magic begins to weave in the opposite direction with the threads of Tellus from the opposite side, and you feel this net of energy grow taut from the other side. And Dazes, you can see even at this point, and you as well, Trash, there is this thin silvery lattice work that has formed over the top of the cistern, over the top of this slowly, seemingly simmering liquid between Floof and Tellus. Almost like just this back and forth overlapping checkerboard sort of lattice work of energy forming this net-like material, this like spiritual net, if you will. From here, either Trash or Dazes, go ahead and give me a d20 roll, or give me 2 d20 rolls, and we'll take the higher of the two, since Floof succeeded with his check.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You know what? Hold on, let me redo that.
Oh, you got one more. Oh,
Not much better.
Oh my god.
You watch as Gamil takes a deep breath of this vapor, not unlike the breath that you took, Floof. And as he inhales and attempts to hold, and you look at Tellus,
Yes, hold, focus your mind, memory, bring the memory forward.
you feel him almost begin to upchuck as he tries to hold it before just starting to cough uncontrollably. As you watch a bit of blood begin to drip out of his nose.
Oh dear.
Way to go.
Oh no.
But
I wonder if I can walk out of the room at this point.
you watch him begin to cough, and it takes him a few minutes to gather himself, as you can see there was like visible, like not physical pain, but like mental anguish racing through his mind as he tries to focus once again.
Yes, it's dangerous, Please, try again. Try once more. Focus your mind.
And you see he takes a deep breath as you watch his muscles tense up as he wipes the blood from his face. He's going to go ahead and he's going to regain some hit points there as he just, you watch the muscles across his entire torso tighten and flex as he takes in a big deep breath once more of air away from the cistern. But go ahead this time, Trash. Go ahead and roll me 2 d20s.
Okay.
And we'll take the higher of the two.
Not me.
First, okay, 17 and 16.
Okay.
Just just straight rolls.
Okay. All right. This time you watch as he focuses, almost digging his talons into the edge of the stone cistern as he just takes a deep guttural breath into his sternum, like he's preparing to let out a loud war cry, but holding it in. And you watch as Floof, having experienced this firsthand, but never watching someone else perform this ritual, you watch as he breathes in deep and holds this vapor in his chest. And you watch as his eyes go white completely before falling forward, his face almost falling into this bubbling liquid, but caught by the lattice work of energy that you and Tellus have formed before his face would have otherwise slammed into this stone cistern, and basically drowning him into this bubbling liquid. But you watch as his Tellus grabs his hand, releasing the energies that bind the two of you at the moment, but urging you and Dazes to grab either arm of the now limp Gamil as you watch his eyes still white. He's very much conscious, but doesn't seem to be focusing in the way. It's almost as his body is kind of, his spirit has left his physical body. As with your help, you all are able to gently pull him down to sit beside the cistern. And you watch as his eyes, almost like a sleeping individual experiences REM sleep. You can see the eye just ever so gently begin to twitch back and forth and move as if in a dream state. But his eyes are wide open during this. And as this is going on, you look over, and in the bubbling pool, the liquid has gone glass-like still and clear. So clear, it's like a mirror. And behind that mirror, you see loose shadows beginning to form. Smoke forms into rocky walls that bend up in radiused curves on either end of this cavern. It is dark, but not pitch black. The far end of this long, open atrium, along these cavern walls, you see what looks like this large glass vessel full of a softly glowing liquid. It softly illuminates this entire view of this space. And as you're watching this image slowly come into focus, you can see that it's not entirely open as if you're seeing it for yourself. It's like you're looking through a lens, a pair of lenses, as if you're looking through Gamil's eyes, as if you were in his place, looking down into this image that is slowly forming of this cavern. And at the far end of the cavern, you see a number of figures beginning to form just in front of this softly glowing glass vessel full of this soft blue liquid. The first individual that you see they have a thin form. Long black robes. Or should I say, a long black cape of sorts, or flowing from behind across their chest, this pitch black half plate or breastplate, and leather pauldrons, and leather pants and boots, all a very dark brown or blackish color. Their hair mostly dark black, but with streaks of whitish silver up through the center on one side. Their skin, a sort of palish mix of greenish gray with tinges of yellow in places. Their jaw, a feminine shape, only disturbed at the lower lip where two small, petite tusks exit from the lower lip, ever so faintly. Their hair, short, almost pixie cut. Their face, a handful of small scars scattered about, but otherwise relatively untouched. And staring from this distance, you barely see the back until this individual turns. And Dazes, there is beyond recognition as this individual turns to almost 90 degrees facing the focus of this image. You recognize this individual. The first time you've seen them in many years. Well, the first time you've seen their face in many years. Give me just a moment. You see on the left ear a row of earrings. A few of these pieces of jewelry you gave to them yourself, Dazes. As this individual turns back the other way towards this massive glass container of this softly glowing light blue liquid, to face another figure. This one wearing dark blue robes, quite a bit taller. And as they move around to these strange apparatus of mechanisms that even you, Trash, although you can see that they're interacting in various ways, you have no idea how, as their hands don't directly touch any of these apparati, but yet they activate with the swipe of a hand, the gentle flick of a finger without coming in direct contact. And as more of the focus comes into play, you see that the cavern walls are more than just rock. There are massive bones that ascend up along that form the outer edge of this cavern. Rows of equidistantly spaced bones. Massive rib cage of some long dead creature. Deep within the underground of this space. And all around this glass vessel, you see this strange organic material pulsating as it wraps around this glass container of liquid and slowly vines down like some strange organic machine into this pedestal that this cloaked individual is interacting with. You hear no voice, but you hear the words of this young female half-orc speaking, at least their portion of the conversation.
I will go to find what you are looking for. Yes, it will be... must be a untampered specimen. Do not forget our bargain. I will bring you what you need. In turn, you will find it for us. You will dispel it for us. Do not forget your end of the bargain.
Lastly, you hear this rumbling, and you almost feel it as the focus of this slowly playing memory in the cistern almost begins to shake. You don't have to be there to feel the intimidating presence of something large, something ancient. You don't see its body. In fact, you don't see any of it. Except a pair of massive, fiery red eyes that pierce through a smoky veil just to the left of these other two individuals.
Do not forget our bargain, creature. Once you have transcended your current form and been given the power you need, you will use your newfound gifts to strip its guise so that we might ascend. I warn you, do not forget our arrangement, creature.
And you watch as this hooded figure in front of this control apparatus turns, and you hear this mixture of clicking and strange guttural squealing as it turns. And just as you turn, or it turns, you see 4 strange tentacles fall from the cloak, almost like a grotesque beard coming from the face of this creature as it extends down almost to its navel. You hear no words, but just more of this guttural squealing and clicking before it rapidly turns. In an instant, you see this almost alien-like ovular face of gray skin, an extended long face, before a blast of energy wipes the image clear. And the cistern goes still and blank once more. You look over as Gamil, his pupils now return to the center of his eyes as he looks up in this initial panic, and looks to you all just shaking, as Tellus kind of steps down beside him. Oh, calm oneself. Breathe. Relax. You are among friends. Yes. Calm the mind. As this is going on, what are you all thinking?
I say out loud to Gamil, you know Ada?
I do not know this name. At least not... No, do you mean the woman? The woman in my memory?
Yes.
No. This is the first time I have seen her. I had forgotten what had happened. He was in so much pain.
And he watches, he's grasping the back of his head, as if somebody had, something or someone had struck him.
Oh. It is like my head is splitting open. I was in the tunnels with the prince and the contingents of guards when this same blast, whatever that was, we turned the corner. I turned to the prince, and as we were preparing to leave, and those eyes, those tentacles, I remember now.
And you can see his just visibly beginning to pour sweat across his face. A bit of blood dripping down one of his nostrils.
Could I instinctively perhaps just use a healing spirit on him?
Sure.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay. As you cast the healing spirit, you watch this slowly meandering. Well, you describe to me, what does your healing spirit look like? I don't know what we've ever discussed what its form, or it's kind of up to interpretation.
Oh, I didn't know I get to pick it or choose this.
You didn't think I'd make you roleplay it, did you?
Yeah, I didn't. All right, let me read this. All right. I'm gonna say I call forth my healing spirits, which takes the shape of a small bird, not unlike their cockerel, but just a small little robin-type bird that kind of floats around his body and making contact with areas that are wounded, bringing relief.
Okay. I love it. You watch as this spectral, softly glowing robin floats around the cranium of Gamil, where you see he is grasping at his ears and his eyes and his nose. But as this robin begins to circle, you sense this bit of calm come over his mind once more as his breathing begins to gather, as he begins to focus as much as he can in this moment of intense realization.
That thing. They have not been on this continent in millennia. They were extinct. Our people, the old ones, the elders spoke of such creatures in the past. They chased them across from lands, from worlds elsewhere, to here, to our new home. Our armies of ancient times fought with these creatures. To think they still exist today. This is what killed my prince. And that presence, I can still feel the heat of its words. I feel the reverberation of its statements in my chest. Whatever that was, it's like it burned the very air I was breathing. And that woman. Do you know this woman?
He stares up at you, Dazes.
Do I recognize her from the form or way that I saw her underground or whatever?
I would say you get the general understanding of her form, but you would definitely recognize the voice.
All right. I'm going to say his dead girlfriend.
Maybe we can work on phrasing later. But okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna catch my breath real quick. That was funny.
I'll say, no longer dead, as I shoot a look at Floof.
I realize I may have said said that wrong.
Well, whatever she is to you, she is a part to play in this madness. I don't sense any of her animosity in you, at least, but whatever her part to play in this is, it is too dangerous to let be. I would hope when the time comes that you don't allow your past relations to keep you from doing what must be done. If they are responsible for what I believe they have done.
I will look silently down at the floor. In thought.
In that moment of silence, You all attempt to gather what you can of what happened, piecing together the bits and thoughts that you observed in the cistern. Floof, understanding the full extent of what this ritual entailed, allowing others to observe as well as one to relive their own memories. For Trash, you feel the weight of what you observed. You've even watching what was transpiring, this memory, and the extent of the magic used to reenact it leaves you a bit speechless. And Dazes, having lost quite possibly the most important person to you in your life, assuming they were long gone, and now having seen them twice in 24 hours, leaves you at a loss of words as well. And as this rush of thoughts and emotions attempts to balance within your minds, you all begin to hear a commotion coming from outside. What do you do?
Is there a window to look out of in that direction?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Just the worst of rolls today.
It wasn't a super high DC. This is really just to tell if you can see what direction this is coming from. As you look out the window, pulling aside one of the fabric coverings of this window that really is just more of an opening in the wall, more so than it is a covering window. You see that there is a group gathering down at the base of the valley. A large commotion, if you will, at this distance. It's hard to tell, but it seems like there is an individual in this crowd of otherwise Aarakocra that seems a bit out of place, but at this distance it's hard to tell. What do you all do?
I guess I'll describe the situation real quick. Do we want to check it out?
Suppose we should.
I will. Yeah, I'll leave Gamil's side. My healing spirit have done its work, and yeah, I'll join you guys and check in to see what's going on.
Okay. You all begin to exit, and Tellus seems to be assisting with helping Gamil gather his senses and recover from the mental strain of the ritual. But, you look over. Yes, go. Attention to you. Go. I will see to him. Go. And as you exit her residence and begin heading downwards, a bit easier going down than down the side of these steepened edges than it is to go up. And then reaching in, and as you get closer and closer, Trash, you are the first to recognize this sort of out-of-place individual. You almost miss them were it not for your own relatively short stature. As this individual is In this case, it works out into your advantage because as you look down, you're able to see through some of the gathering. Is the majority of the bulk of the Aarakocra's form is in their upper body with their wings. Even when they're tucked together, it's hard to see through like you would a normal person without these additional appendages. But as you're looking through the thin legs of these avian humanoids, you see a squattier individual in deep blue robes with a large wooden staff and a prominent brownish red beard. And as you all grow closer to this group, this gathering pack of villagers who have sort of surrounded this individual, you quickly recognize who this is. As you are the first to spot them through the large collection of thinner avian legs. You're the first to spot these robes, very reminiscent of the Magisterium Arcanum on this squat individual. It is
I did think it was
Grandmaster Arcanist Darius Oberson, as he is seemingly trying to do his best to talk as much as he can in this crowd of a mixture of irate to just genuinely curious to angered villagers that he has seemingly appeared out of nowhere in the middle of their village. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Ooh.
So we're coming right up on 3 hours, and I think that's a good stopping point for this evening.
Oh, I'm so intrigued.
8 is getting on my last nerve, bro.
She evil.
Yeah, crazy ass bitch ex-wife or whatever.
Crazy. She evil. She crazy and evil.
We shall see.